Get ready for the best cricket show in America. Full Toss, hosted by Amit Godbole, Amarnath and Atul Huku.
Hi folks, you're listening to Fulltoss on 8K Radio. This is your host Amit, live from Houston, Texas, and live in the studios of 8K Radio in Edison, New Jersey. My friend, my co-host, my mentor, Amarnath. Amarnath, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you very much. Beautiful day here in New Jersey.
Also in the studio, my friend, president of Edison Cricket Club, our local and international correspondent, Mr. Atul Huku. Atul, welcome to the broadcast, buddy.
It's always a pleasure to be here, Amit. And, as we've discussed, we'll have a host of people talking today on a certain cricketer who will be celebrating his birthday tomorrow.
Absolutely. What a day. What a day. We have a jam-packed show in our hands today, ladies and gentlemen. Atul, we have a very, very interesting guest in the studio with us today. I would like you to take this opportunity now to introduce our guest in the studio right now who is with us live.
Well, we are going to profile one of the biggest cricketers, one of the best opening batsmen India or the world has ever seen, Mr. Sunil Gavaskar, tomorrow because it's his birthday. But, like I said, we have managed to get a few people who are in his circle and close friends of Sunil who will talk to us during the show. One which is right now sitting here is Nakul Rege, and they will give us some anecdotes about their experiences with their close friend Sunil Gavaskar. Welcome to the show, Nakul.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here, and certainly I'll be able to add a few interesting anecdotes about Sunil.
Hi, Nakul. It's really good to have you in the studio. First of all, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming here and talking to us and our listeners. I welcome you to the show. We will be talking to you about Mr. Gavaskar, as well as I also want you to join in the discussions that we're having. There are plenty of cricket action that is happening right now. Amarnath and Atul, just to bring you up to speed of what is happening right now, the one-off T20 between India and West Indies. India is currently 77 for loss of 2 wickets and Virat Kohli they started off really well, and Dhawan, they have both been out now. Can you believe in today's match there are 4 specialist wicket keepers who are playing?
For India?
For India.
I guess that's one of the records. If you actually look into it, I don't think anywhere in the world you've had 4 wicket keepers playing at the same time in one team.
Karthik, Rishabh Pant, Dhoni.
And Kedar Jadhav.
Yes.
And Kedar Jadhav. So there are 4 specialist wicket keepers who are playing this T20. Now, I guess the biggest news for today, gentlemen, is Chris Gayle, who's going to be playing for West Indies. And some of the experts have already said that earlier that this is a big ticket, a big ticket item on today's match. But that's happening right now. Also, another interesting match happening, England and South Africa, the test match. Well, the English have dominated this test match completely. Now, this match was not without drama whatsoever. Kagiso Rabada, as we all know, that has been suspended for the second test for his on-field antics. Now, it can be debated as to whether he was right or wrong. Graham Smith has came to his defense, but at the end of the day, ICC has suspended Rabada for the second test. Nevertheless, here's a scorecard for England and South Africa. 361 right now. And, England, first of all, posted 458 and 233. In response, South Africans were bowled out for 361, and currently they are 82 for 7, gentlemen.
For 8. It has become 82 for 8.
82 for 8 now. How about that? How about that? Also, the Women's World Cup that is happening, what an incredible sight that is, Atul and Amarnath. This has been an outstanding World Cup so far. England have posted 259 for loss of 8 wickets, and Australians are now chasing it. They are 216 for loss of 5 wickets in 46.2 overs. And also, gentlemen, as if time permits, we will talk about upcoming tour of India and Sri Lanka. Once again, I'm going to keep that on the back burner for now because today's big news. and today's big event that will be celebrating Mr. Gavaskar's birthday today. And there's no surprise, our profile for today is also going to be on Mr. Gavaskar.
Actually, it's been a very fantastic week because we've had birthdays galore. Yesterday we celebrated Saurav Ganguly's Dada's birthday, and a day before that was MS Dhoni. And now going in with Monday, the first day of next week, we've got Sunil Gavaskar. So superb timing for the Indian cricket fans.
I think the gods are very kind. They brought all these superstars. It is written in the stars that these superstars come at the same time.
Indeed, sir. Indeed. Now, Atul and Amarnath and Nakul, let me also bring you in right now. If you can, please tell us where are you from? What part of India you belong to?
I'm from Bombay, which is Mumbai now, and I used to play university cricket, school cricket, and club cricket, A division club cricket back in Mumbai, and I came to the US in 1983. So I have been in the US for a long time, but I played for about 8 years here in the US in the New Jersey League. And this was a time when the Indian cricketers, especially Sunil Gavaskar and Sandeep Patil and Ravi Shastri, they used to bring a lot of the Indian team out here to play, and they would stay with families here in Edison, New Jersey, as well as in East Brunswick. They would play cricket here. I was lucky enough to play 3 matches out here. They played in Philadelphia as well. This was all just around the time of the World Cup. So it was a very interesting time, and they had no hang-ups, especially Sunil, and he made sure that the younger team managed to come and enjoy and experience the U.S.
Nakul, that is so fantastic. Now, if you can tell us, and if you can tell our listeners about your relationship with Sunil Gavaskar, how do we know each other? How did this whole thing started? And if you can tell us a little bit something about that is not online, meaning we want to try to get to know Mr. Gavaskar a little bit closer from his close friends.
Well, I can say that I was about a decade younger than him, so naturally I got to know him only when he just around the time when he was scoring runs in the university at the university level and just before the West Indies tour. But after that, when he was playing for the other union as well as for Nirlon and ACC back in the 70s, he was today is also a very auspicious day. It's a Guru Purnima day, so I would consider him as a guru to many of the people in Bombay and in India, because even though he did not formally coach many of us, there was no doubt we incorporated all his styles and techniques and his ability to play fast bowling in our own techniques. So we often cross paths on the cricket field in Bombay. Most of the players in those days always played club cricket. They played for their offices, and of course for the state and for the local teams. So that was the chance that we had. We always wanted to observe and watch him play cricket.
Fantastic. Amarnath, you want to add something?
I think with respect to Sunil Gavaskar, I think he was the first true Indian superstar, if I can use that term. There are many other cricketers before that. Nothing to knock them down. Gavaskar was the one who could play the fast bowlers without flinching and played superbly. And he proved his mettle not just in India but all over the world. And that's the reason why we all looked up to him. He was a symbol of India's pride. It was a resurgent, independent India's symbol. He was born just after independence. So he's the first post-independent cricketer of India who was like a superstar and who was totally world-class.
Well, friends, you're listening to Fulltoss on 8K Radio with Amarnath, Atul, and Amit. And also we have Mr. Nakul Rege, who's in the studio right now. We're talking about cricket. We're celebrating Mr. Gavaskar's birthday today. Here's a quick update on India and West Indies T20 that is being played right now in Jamaica, Kingston Park. 82 for loss of 2 wickets in 9.1 overs with Rishabh Pant and Dinesh Karthik batting. Rishabh Pant is at 13 and Karthik is playing at 8. Both the wicketkeeper specialist batsmen are playing now and followed by Mahendra Singh Dhoni. As we mentioned earlier, there are 4 wicketkeeper specialists are playing. Batsmen are playing in this T20. Also playing in today's match is Chris Gayle and Karen Pollard, if I'm not mistaken. He's also in today's game.
It's a full-strength West Indies team. They want to win this game desperately. No question about that.
Amit, what is happening in the World Cup, Women's World Cup? England versus Australia is a very interesting game going on at this point.
Yes, that is also. Let me see if I can. If I have the score
I can tell you the score.
Updated. Go ahead, Amarnath. I think you have more recently updated one.
England scored 259 for 8, and Australia 233 for 6 in 47.
237 now for 6.
In 47.3 overs. So it is a close game, but I think England has got the advantage.
Well, so the Australians need 23 off 14 deliveries, so it's still anybody's game.
If Australia loses, the standings it becomes very, very interesting because now India and Australia will both have the same points, and England will probably come into the top 4, which leaves New Zealand and South Africa on the the 4th and 5th position. So it's dramatically changing. The standings have started changing, and I thanks India to yesterday's game, which they played so terribly against South Africa, and South Africa took full advantage and won the game, and now the entire standings are suddenly changing.
I'm glad, Atul, you brought that up, because now this whole stage is evenly set, if I can use that term. I mean, but this is turning out to be a great World Cup for women's cricket, and I think it's important for something like this to happen is because of the popularity of the game. Now, we have been talking about women's cricket for so many years now. Amarnath, you and I have been on air for over a decade now.
True.
And it's been one of those kind of journeys where we have always talked about it, and but finally now we can see why this sport is being popular for so many years, and now with the Women's World Cup that is happening, the amount of talent that they have to offer is unbelievable.
Absolutely right. And actually, the interesting fact is that the women's cricket has suddenly jumped up a few levels, because now they're scoring 300 runs and 375 runs, and the top 4 teams like India, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and England, they're all capable of putting up a score of 300 or even chasing at a time of 300 runs. And I thank the English summer a lot to do it, because it's nice and warm, the wicket is all dry, great for batting, and there's huge runs being scored, and that I think is great for women's cricket.
Just to add a point to what Atul said, not only is the score increasing and the entertainment value also has gone up.
Yes.
That's exactly what I meant. I mean, and it's due time for women cricket to get some recognition in the world, because at the end of the day, very few people are aware of it. The history of the game started with women. I mean, men came into play much, much later.
In fact, bowling overarm was discovered by women first.
Absolutely. The no ball came in because of the women,
So they started bowling overarm. It was before underarm cricket. We have to thank women for the modern game.
I think we not only thank women, we should have to thank the women's dresses, because in the Victorian ages, they used to wear such huge dresses which were down at skirts, where the underarm was affecting some of their bowlers, and one of the bowlers asked the umpire, "Can I bowl overarm?" And he allowed it. And the next day, when the umpire was umpiring in a different game, and the women who came in to bowl first bowled underarm, and he said, "No ball."
No ball.
That's how the no ball came.
How about that? Gentlemen, this is the reason why we do full toss, right? Is because some of the things that we're talking about now, you cannot read them, you cannot find them. Now, gentlemen, I have a quick question for both of you, and I'm not sure if you have been following this thing, but something is happening in Australia where they have a dispute going on.
Sure,
I'm aware of the players.
Yes. Now,
do you have any update on that?
I don't have an update, but it is a very interesting situation. If it's not handled right, it could become ugly for Australian cricket and Australian cricket fans and fans all over. You don't want the Ashes to get spoilt.
It's a stalemate so far. So, a lot of if the stalemate continues and things don't change, a lot of the upcoming series will get affected because you won't have the superstars of Australian cricket or the top players of Australian cricket coming to, there's a India tour, there's a South Africa tour. All these will get affected.
A few days ago, I from my sources, I came to know that Usman Khawaja, who was going to be representing the Australia A tour to South Africa, has refused to go and participate in that particular tour along with some other players. And obviously, I think there was also a tri-series slated for A team to play against India as well. And as Atul mentioned, that Australians are to be scheduled to play against India. So we'll see. Let's see how things go. Another topic that I just want to slip it in before I go back to Nakul is we're still, I think July 10th, tomorrow is when we will probably come to know about the status of the Indian coach.
Yes, that's going to be interesting. Gentlemen? Yes. I think
Atul broke that last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, tomorrow is the one they're going to decide who the coach is going to be. So it's interesting.
Nakul, let me come back to you now. I know you've been sitting there quietly, and I just wanted to bring you in. We were talking about Mr. Gavaskar. Now, you've been here since 1983, and I talk to Amarnath all the time about how he followed cricket. But this is before internet was there, and now we can watch cricket matches. But back in those days, how were you able to follow cricket here?
It was extremely difficult. In fact, what I used to do was to even travel to New York, where the Indian consulate had Times of India and things like that, and you would sit there and read about 2-3 months of papers. There was no internet, as you rightly said, until 1995. Then there was a situation where I would get Sports Star and other magazines C-mailed to you because it was a lot cheaper.
Right.
And they came in bunches, as well as when friends came over, you got a stack of sports magazines in those days.
There are so many outstanding innings Mr. Gavaskar has played. In your memory, what was one of your memorable innings that you recall all the time?
Well, I think apart from the 229 or 227, which people talk about at the Oval, but personally having the one which had the most influence was the one at the newly built Wankhede Stadium, where he scored 80 odd, and I think the way he played Andy Roberts and even Arthur Barrett, the leg spinner, I think that will always remain in my memory. Also a double hundred, I think he got against Malcolm Marshall, also at the Wankhede. It was a team after the Kerry Packer series, but those were two very good innings, which I.
Amarnath, didn't you mention about this particular match last week?
Yes, but the Wankhede, yes.
Wankhede, right.
Right. My personal favorite is one of his. I have many favorites. One of the first one is his first double century in West Indies, which saved the game for India. That's still always special. That was a young Gavaskar making his mark, and that double century heralded the new superstar.
Atul?
I love the one which he scored his last game, the 90 against Pakistan, because he was playing literally on a minefield. And, it's unfortunate that he could not make a century, and also unfortunate that we lost the game.
That was also one of my finest memories. In fact, the same match that Atul was just talking about. And growing up, many of us, we idolized him, and, we started imitating the way he was playing. And especially in those days when he was playing, he was facing some of the toughest bowling attacks.
True.
From all over.
Without a helmet.
People forget that oftentimes.
Without a helmet.
Now, he had a pretty interesting helmet himself.
But that came about only later on, Henry.
That there is a story behind that. The skull cap, which it was called at that point of time, it's kept in the Lord's Museum, and there was a scientist who actually went up to the Lord's Museum and asked to have a look at the skull cap, and they gave it to him. So he went and did a few tests, came back and asked them, "Is the gentleman who wore this alive?" And they said, yes, he is. He's saying, well, thank God the ball never hit him, because the way this was built, if the ball had hit the skull cap, it would have crushed his head and he would have died. And this is a news which Sunil himself told me.
Really?
My God.
So what's the story, gentlemen, about about his famous walk and the ball he used to tuck in his pocket?
I have no idea about that. But as a human being, he's a totally different person. He's a very kind-hearted person. I remember when we were hit by Sandy in 2012, the night of October 29, 2012, when it was hit. After the storm hit New Jersey, after an hour or so, my electricity and everything in Edison had gone black and dark. And, around 6 in the morning, I get a call. And that was the only call I got for the next 15 days because there was no electricity in Edison. And that was Sunil Manohar Gavaskar asking me whether me and my family were fine. I mean, you can't beat that.
Really wonderful. That's a great, heartwarming story.
I have one more very quick story of an annual dinner that he has with all the people he has played with, whether they were playing gully cricket with him back in the days, or even university, or even college or school, or all these players. He hosts an annual dinner during, especially during an international match, probably in the winter months, and that he remembers everybody basically.
Great. Nakul, stay with us. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Full Toss on 8K Radio with Amit, Amarnath, and Atul. And we have Mr. Nakul Rege, who is in the studio. We're talking about Mr. Sunil Gavaskar. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it is time for us to go ahead and take a short drinks break. And, when we come back, we have plenty more. We have a few more interesting guests who will be joining us internationally. We'll be talking about Mr. Gavaskar and their experiences and their friendship. Nakul, you stay with us. We'll chat with you a bit more after the break. Friends, stay tuned. You do not want to miss this particular segment now. You're in for quite a ride. Stay tuned. You're listening to Full Toss on 8K Radio.
Stay tuned to 8K Radio as Full Toss will be right back after a short break. You are listening to Full Toss, the voice of cricket in America.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Full Toss on 8K Radio with, this is your host, Amit, live from Houston, Texas, and live in the studios of Edison, New Jersey. 8K Radio, we have Amarnath and Atul, and we have Mr. Nakul Rege, who's joining us. And Atul, we have some very, very interesting guests who are joining us from United Kingdom. Let's go ahead and have the introductions.
Yeah, we have two gentlemen. One is Jay Hanmangar and Chandresh Patel, which are the two closest friends of Sunil Manohar Gavaskar in UK. Welcome to the show. Jay, are you there?
Hi Atul, good morning, good afternoon, how are you?
We are fine. Welcome to the show. And, since you're here, please tell us your relationship with Sunil Manohar Gavaskar and some great times which you've had with him.
Absolutely. It's been a privilege to know him since the past 7, 8 or so years. And, obviously, before knowing him, he was always a legend and, absolutely, a star for all of us. But then once you know him as a person, you will sort of start appreciating him even more, because with the star quality and the legendary deeds that I don't need to really speak anything about, there are many things about him which actually stand out as a human being. Maybe I can sort of talk about 3 things which are really sort of emulation worthy, I would say. One is his humility and his tolerance with people who can be extremely unreasonable with respect to demands for his autographs, photographs, and nowadays, autographs are a thing of the past, where everybody wants selfies and stuff like that. And, given the demands on his work as well as given the demands on his personal schedule, he's never disappointed a single fan. And I think that's a true hallmark of a great man who combines his, big stature with humility as well. And obviously having spent a number of evenings with him and the kind of stories that we get to hear, shows that the man has elephantine memory, and his ability to sort of relate to a situation and pick an anecdote from the past and talk about it humorously as well as analyzing it is something that is quite amazing. And one of the things, obviously, his ability to sort of logically analyze a situation, was never in doubt given his great cricketing credentials. But, how do you, we talk about not just cricket, but a number of other things like politics and this and that and stuff like that. But, even in fields that he sort of doesn't directly involved in, maybe in some of the corporate management matters that we discuss with him, his ability to sort of analyze a situation and then, give some kind of a possible, what in our corporate terminology call as root cause analysis is absolutely amazing, which fundamentally shows that there is a, massive brain behind all of his achievements, and and it's absolutely magnificent to be with him and hear his views and things like that. Chandresh, do you want to say anything?
Good afternoon, Atul. Good afternoon to your listeners. Yes, I have been privileged to know Sunil for over 40 years now. 40. And I cannot add anything more to what Jay said, but one thing which has always endeared me to him is that his humility. He's a wonderful, loyal, and trustworthy friend. And for me, he has been a mentor for the last 40 years. I've been through some extremely difficult times, bad patches, but he's always been there, ready to help out. And he is a great man. He really is a great man. And when you see him with children where parents approach him with their children, he is amazing. He's a sight to see. And his patience. No wonder. He was one of the best, the best opening batsman. His patience stands out. Even with the crowds in England, it's amazing.
I totally agree with you. I know I was with him a couple of years back. We were doing a MoneyGram event, and MoneyGram, got him to meet and greet at various centers across the country in the United States. But nobody actually thought of the number of cricket bats he had to sign. And he would stand there, and there were 2,000-3,000 people coming and getting their pictures and their bats autographed, and he did it with a smile. And it's unbelievable patience, and he's really down to earth, like you said.
Chandresh, this is Amit. First of all, welcome to our show. Thank you so much for taking time out and talking to us.
Yeah.
Good afternoon to you as well. Now, Chandresh, I know we've been talking about all these things. Tell us a little bit more. You've known him for so many years. What are his favorite things besides playing cricket and talking about cricket? What are some other things that Mr. Gavaskar does?
Amit, when two of us are together, we hardly talk about cricket. We'll talk about all sorts of things, which I don't think is suitable for your family program. But but he's got very simple taste in life. Like if you give him a packet of Carle Gluco biscuits, he'll think you've given him the world. Or the Kari biscuits. Sometimes Jay and I take him a packet of Kari biscuits, which he has with tea. Very simple things. He likes also, what you call groundnuts, we call it peanuts over here. In India, they call Kari Singh.
Right.
Things like that. He is an extremely simple man. He's got no, hang-ups about anything. And one particular incident I would like to remind you, it was Wankhede Stadium. I don't remember the year. And those days, there was no ICC, there was no anti-corruption, so one could go into the players' dressing room. And I happened to be in the dressing room, and both of us left together. And he was mobbed. So he stood there. Those days were autographs. The police are trying to beat back the crowd, but he said, no, it's okay. Let them come to me in an orderly fashion. I'll sign the autographs. He was there half an hour. I got fed up. I left. I took his car and went home.
That is really nice.
He arrived home an hour later, and all he did was looked at me and, just burst out laughing. So I didn't have the patience, but he had the patience. He had to get a lift from Ajit Wadekar, I understand, to get back home,
Completely agree. I've been in situations with him where some of the fans have actually turned, let's say, less, slightly nasty, I would say, and where I have tended to react to them because, he has been our guest, but he's completely handled them with the same aplomb that he would hook a Malcolm Marshall bouncer or anything like that. So, yeah, a lot of stuff to learn from him.
And talking about it's his birthday tomorrow, but Michael Holding, Jay, myself, and Sunil are having dinner tonight in honor of his birthday, which is tomorrow. But we're going to have it a day early.
Well, we are celebrating it this afternoon with you on air to talk about him, and hopefully, I know you guys are going off in a couple of minutes to his house, and hopefully we'll try and get you back on air and with him in the next couple of minutes.
And his children will be there.
So we'll see you guys soon in the next couple of minutes. We'll holler you back, Jay, on your cell phone.
Sure, will do.
Atul, have a blessed day. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, guys.
And a special hello to all your viewers from London. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, friends, you're listening to 8K Radio. You're listening to Full Toss. This is your host, Amit, live from Houston, Texas, and live in the studios of 8K Radio in Edison, New Jersey. Amarnath, Atul, and Mr. Nakul Rege. Gentlemen, here's a quick update on the T20 match that is happening in West Indies right now. India is 137 for loss of 2 wickets. Dinesh Karthik is set to stage on fire. He's on 47 of 27 deliveries, 5 fours and 3 massive sixes. And Rishabh Pant is giving him company at the score of 22. So once again, India and West Indies, one of T20 being played in Jamaica.
I think India will be targeting a score of 200, between 190 and 200 at the rate at which they are going. If they can score it, I think West Indies with Gale and Pollard can also play. So it's going to be a very interesting game.
Nakul, last week on Fulltoss, we have been doing it for many years, but we have restarted our segment called Tribute to Cricketers. And last week we did a tribute on Mr. Eknath Solkar. And that day also Atul brought in, or Amarnath brought in some interesting points about Mr. Gavaskar and their friendship together also. And obviously today we're talking about Mr. Gavaskar. I think what a fantastic day to talk about him. Going back to your days in Mumbai, and when you used to play university cricket in Mumbai, tell us a little bit more about how did you go about doing your things and your interactions with Mr. Gavaskar.
Back in the days, I used to play for Hindu Gymkhana, and my captains there in 1976 were Eknath Solkar and Ashok Mankad.
Wonderful.
And
Wonderful.
In those days, of course, the Hindu Gymkhana had never won the Kanga League. We were part of South Bombay, you would say, in the Girgaon area.
Yes.
And Gavaskar and the Shivaji Park teams were always considered rivals to the Hindu Gymkhana team. So since Hindu Gymkhana had never won the Kanga League, which we eventually won in, I think, 1981. So in those days, those matches used to be of very keen interest. Used to have crowds much bigger than what you see today in the stadiums, even for Ranji Trophy matches, just to watch a simple club match at Kennedy Seaface, for example. And we would always, you always wanted to watch the Gavaskars and Vengsarkars and everyone play, and yet on the other hand, you wanted them not to score so that Hindu Gym would beat them. So it was always, and these guys would come with, they always had the latest kit from, the English pads and bats, and that was something for youngsters like us to always look up to, watching them in their full gear. So those were, those were great days. And as Jay and Chandresh basically mentioned earlier, it was the humility of these players was, especially even Sunil and everybody else, all the big test players, was simply, amazing.
Now, some of the things that both Jay and Chandresh mentioned, and you also mentioned, I have actually witnessed it. I have witnessed it in a few different occasions where, Mr. Gavaskar has taken time out to take selfies with people at the airports, on the streets. He has never disappointed a single fan. I've actually seen that. I've actually seen pictures of him with people, people approaching him, and it talks a lot about the character.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, in fact, I was amazed when I went and watched the Tendulkar 200 test match. And I was at what you might call the North Stand when, in relation to the Brabant Stadium. Of course, this was at Wankhede.
Yes.
And this was before the match. I saw Sunil Gavaskar signing for at least 45 minutes. And I've never been, I was simply amazed by that. For 40, all the other players, maybe they had other commitments, but some of the newly retired players, they were just walking by and ignoring the crowds. But he made sure that every person there, got an autograph.
I remember hearing this. Sachin Tendulkar used to have a scribble of a signature, and Sunil one day told him that, listen, your autograph, when you autograph things when you grow up and you play well, and your signature is the most important aspect of an autograph, so it should be legible. So try and make it simple and legible so that people understand whose signature it is. So that's very important. And he, even in small things like this, he has passed on experiences to players. He's just a totally different human being. I'd like to tell you guys something totally different. I remember we were celebrating, Edison Cricket Club was celebrating his 60th birthday, and we had him in our presence. So he was in New York, and two of my boys had to go and pick him up from New York and bring him to New Jersey. And it was during lunchtime. So I told my boys that, listen, if you'll stop for a bite, pay the bill and the club will pay it afterwards. But don't let Sunil pay. And, like Sunil, like he is, he took the bill from the boys, and one of the boys told him that, listen, I'll pay the bill, He says, no, I will pay the bill, and you can tell everybody else that Sunil Gavaskar took me out for lunch. So, he's an unbelievable person, he's soft-hearted, and he understands every human being's problem at a particular situation. Like Jay was saying, his analysis of a situation is fantastic.
Paying attention to details, that's the hallmark of a great man.
Not only that, then to be down to earth, which is most important. For a legend and a celebrity of his status, behaving very down to earth is very humbling.
Very true.
Well, gentlemen, here's a quick update on India and West Indies. India is 150 for loss of 2 wickets in 15.2 overs, with Dinesh Karthik at 48, and Rishabh Pant is catching up very, very quickly at the score of 31 with only 1 6 and 2 boundaries. On the other hand, Dinesh Karthik has had 3 massive sixes so far. They're taking. Obviously there is a plan in place, which is 200, and the Indians are actually on their way to do that. Still to come, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Kedar Jadhav, Ravindra Jadeja, all these batsmen can swing. Go ahead, Amarnath.
Karthik got just out.
While I was talking, he just got out.
Yes, he's out for 48.
So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about Mr. Mr. Sunil Gavaskar here on 8K Radio. You're listening to Full Toss. This is your host Amit, live from Houston, Texas, and live in the studios of 8K Radio. Amarnath, Atul, and Mr. Nakul Rege. Gentlemen, we talked about Cricket Australia. We talked about there's an upcoming tour of Sri Lanka, which India will be starting. That is coming up 26th of July. We'll update you on the team formation. It hasn't been announced yet as to who's going to go and play. We'll update you as we have the information.
Yeah, but then here it's a full tour, and it's happening after 8 years. We've got 3 test matches, 5 ODIs, and 1 2020. The first test match is on 26th. The second starts on August 3rd. The third starts on 12th of August. And the ODIs start on 20th, 24th, 27th, 31st, and 3rd September. And the Seoul 2020 is on 6th September. So that is the schedule for the India versus Sri Lanka tour.
Go ahead, Amarnath.
Any tour of Sri Lanka will always be interesting. My only worry is this is during the monsoon time. So expect a lot of rainouts.
I actually, I was just wondering, I don't know who puts these schedules together.
I was about to ask you the same thing. I say, who comes up with these schedules? Really, seriously, I really want to know now. Now, is it interesting thing, Atul, you brought up, this is after 8 years, we have a full-blown series, because last time India visited there, they only played the test matches.
Actually, more importantly is, you don't have full series anymore. It's all split into either test and then the team, bilateral team, goes back home, and then comes after a couple of months to play test match to one days and 2020. So the full series have basically come to an end. I mean, we had one last year, India being involved with England, and now with Sri Lanka, but we don't see those anymore.
A lot of fragmentation has taken place.
A lot of fragmentation. I believe this was the same series 8 years ago where Yuvraj Singh was being hassled by the crowd. If I'm not mistaken, he was being called water boy.
True.
That wasn't bad. That was in Sri Lanka, wasn't it, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, friends, stay tuned. We have a lot many more things we'll cover, and I cannot lose this let this opportunity go when I have Mr. Nakul Rege in the studio along with Amarnath. Amarnath, you and I have talked about some of the venues. We talked about the Hindu Gymkhana Club all the time. You talk about the Kanga League, and you talk about all those things. So there's plenty more for us to take out of while Nakul is here in the studio. Let's see if we can get more stories out of him.
Yeah, he has played in Hindu Gymkhana, and the Hindu Gymkhana is the.
Just putting you on. Just hold on, okay.
That is the nursery of Indian cricket.
Now looks like Atul is managing to get Jay and Chandresh back on air.
Hello.
Hello, Atul. Hi.
Hi. So we're here. Is Sunil there?
Yeah. Sunil here is Atul who wants to say hello to you. Hi.
Hi, Sunil. It gives me great pleasure to let you know that Chandresh, Jay, and Nakul Rege and myself, along with my host Amit Godbole, are conversing on Fulltoss, the voice of cricket in America, which airs on 8K radio. And we are just talking about you as a human being, as a friend, and we are trying to celebrate your 67 years, and we want to wish you a great 68th tomorrow and a super day tomorrow, along with a great year ahead of you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you. Thanks very much.
So, Nakul would like to say something to you.
Happy birthday, Sunil.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Sunil, this is Amarnath here. We want to wish you a very happy birthday. You have done India proud always. We are very proud of you. Thank you.
Sunil, this is Amit. Wish you many happy returns of the day. We're celebrating your birthday with some of your closest friends, and we're talking about not only your career, but as you also, and we're having a wonderful time. We want to wish you a happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. That is very sweet of you all. Thank you so much. Thank you for your good wishes, and I do hope your good wishes continue to be with Indian cricket. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sunil. Have a great evening.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers. Thanks very much. Bye. Cheers. Bye.
So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. That was our surprise today. Mr. Sunil Gavaskar himself joining us live from London. And thank you so much to Jay and Chandresh for making this happen.
No worries. And thank you.
Nakul, Amarnath, and Atul, history just took place today on Fulltoss, and especially airwaves of radio here in the United States. We just had Mr. Sunil Gavaskar, who joined us live from London. Nakul, Amarnath, and Atul, I'm still a little shocked right now. I don't know. I'm short of words.
No. See, I followed his career right from the time when he was playing for the schoolboys, Bombay schoolboys. There used to be another opening batsman by name Ramesh Nagdev. Nagdev and Gavaskar were the premier opening batsman for Bombay in those days, and we used to wonder who will be the superstar, and of course Sunil Gavaskar became the superstar.
That's right. I believe Ramesh Nagdev moved to the United States, and but Sunil has continued on, and as I had mentioned a short time ago, he never forgets. He's got people have also mentioned on this call how he has a great memory. He never forgets his friends, and as a result of which, he has his annual dinner where he invites everybody. And if you happen to miss that dinner, and if someone brings it up, he very often says, "Why didn't you invite that person?" So,
friends, I just want to quickly update you on the Women's World Cup match that just concluded right now. Australia and England. England women have won this match by 3 runs.
Oh, well, that changes the whole
that changes that exactly
dynamics,
yeah, it changes the dynamics completely now.
Actually, it's going to be a very, very interesting World Cup, because now we all have to wait for Wednesday because there are 3 games taking place. Sri Lanka versus South Africa, Australia versus India, England versus New Zealand. So a lot of dynamics will change there. And then you've got Saturday, a Super Saturday too. South Africa versus Australia, England versus West Indies, India versus New Zealand. So anything can happen in these 2 days.
Yeah, this is turning out to be a nail biter of a World Cup, and as expected. Now, another thing I quickly want to bring it up, Amarnath and Nakul, is the level of I guess they have taken it a notch above now when it comes to fielding. Also, we have seen it at the men's side, but even with the women's cricket, I was genuinely surprised to see the level of commitment that exists these days. They have taken the standards to a level which is unimaginable.
It's no longer sissy cricket. They are playing it very seriously.
There's a difference between what happened last year. Last year, the World Cup also was taking, the 2020 World Cup was taking place for the women. What I've noticed between the two? The women, the teams are more or less the same. The women are much stronger, fitter, and that's why the game has improved hell of a lot.
That's the reason why I brought it up, and I think Atul brought up an excellent point about the fitness aspect of it, and it is clearly evident.
They're taking singles, cheeky singles like the men. The running between the wicket has become fantastic. The fielding has improved. The throws on the stumps have improved. So there's a lot of improvement in women's cricket, and we need to cheer them up.
Yes, indeed. And another interesting thing that I have been noticing, and especially during this World Cup, is we talked about batsmen's ability to play 360. And again, in this format also, you can see that.
Yes, absolutely. They're playing all round the wicket.
Nakul, back in your days, we always talk about in today's cricket, where some of the shots are not so conservative. Did you play any of those shots when you were playing back in your days, or what was the mindset? What was the mentality?
No, that's not. Some of the shots, especially the reverse sweep and things like that, or even the helicopter shot, I don't think we would have even ventured to attempt that. We were still going by the technically correct in the V type of shots, and not lifting the ball until you were really in your 70s or after 100.
Just got a message from Jay, and Sunil was totally shocked and surprised. He's very happy about what we did, but he was totally surprised.
That's very nice. Amarnath, you also played extensive cricket back in your days, and I always put you on the spot. Again, I'm putting you on the spot because Nakul is there. What do you have to add to what Nakul just said?
No, playing textbook cricket was taught right from the get-go when we held a bat, how to hold the bat, how to play the ball perfectly behind the ball, no cross-bat shots. It was considered ugly to hit a cross-bat shot.
In fact, the coaches were so strict. If we did any of those things, cross-bat, or we lifted the ball in the air, we were just told after we finished our batting, take 2 rounds of the stadium.
True, and you may be even dropped for the next match.
Yeah, absolutely. So nobody wanted to do those things.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat today here on Fulltoss. Friends, this is your host, Amit, live from Houston, Texas, live in the studios of 8K Radio in Edison, New Jersey. Amarnath, Atul, and Mr. Nakul Rege. We have had Mr. Sunil Gavaskar, who joined us straight from London. Thanks to Jay and Chandresh, who got him on the phone. And I cannot thank Nakul Rege, who's here with us in the studio. Nakul, thank you so much for coming today and sharing some of the stories. And I urge you to come next time also. You're always welcome here on Fulltoss.
Yeah,
whenever you do have time, do drop in.
Yeah, you can become a full-time member with us.
Absolutely. And before I sign off, here's a quick update on India and West Indies. 158 for loss of 5 wickets in 17 overs. India.
True.
Well, friends, stay tuned for more programming here on 8K Radio. Fulltoss crew will be back next Sunday. Friends, once again, a reminder, Fulltoss is on air now for an hour. We start 12 Eastern. From my time, it's 11.
Fulltoss. Back to the pavilion. Till next Sunday at 12 Eastern Time.